the best gelato in town. You don't need to enter the castle to truly enjoy San Giusto, in my opinion. Discovering all the alleyways you wouldn't see otherwise. How to spend 3 to 4 days in Trieste, Italy, according to a local. Here is my 3 to 4 day itinerary for your first visit to Trieste, Italy. Hi, I'm Rael and I was born there. If you missed it, I've already shared with you a one-day itinerary with multiple options actually. So check out that one first because I go into detail specifically on transportation or how long does it take to go from one place to another. But if you had 3 or even 4 days in the city, this is what I would recommend you to put on your itinerary. Day 1. Spend your morning between Miramare Castle and Park and Barcola, which is the seaside. This is the perfect activity in spring and summer. You can swim in Barcola, you can have breakfast over there, and after that, you can go back to the city center, which is about 20 to 30 minutes by bus, have lunch in Sant'Antonio, which is the name of the church, but it's also one way in which we, the locals, call that area, the Theresian Quarter or Ponte Rosso. But in that neighborhood, you can easily find restaurants and cafes that are open all afternoon. After that, you should check out a museum, and here is a list of several museums in the city center that you can check out. And you should end your first day in Piazza Unità, having aperitivo or dinner by the sea without having a jam-packed first day. If you're not into museums, you could also use this afternoon to go shopping or simply wander around the city center, discovering all the alleyways you wouldn't see otherwise. Day 2, I would call it per le alte, which is what I would say in Trieste, referring to going to a different area around Trieste. See, for instance, names such as Basovizza, Prosecco, Opicina, and others. But let's start in the city center. You should have breakfast either at your accommodation or at a local cafe. And here is a list of cafes I would recommend you visit. And then jump on the tram. As I said in part 1, you should check out if it's working, but take a tram all the way to Opicina and take a long walk on the Napoleonica. This is a panoramic walk you can take that goes from Opicina to Prosecco. And after that, you can simply take a bus because the tram doesn't take you all the way to Prosecco. And if you enjoy free climbing, Napoleonica is one of the most popular places where you can do free climbing. In summer it could even get crowded, but it's an easily accessible walk, and this could take you the whole morning. Before heading back to the city center though, you could have lunch in a local osmica or osteria or gostilna, depending on the season. And for instance, for osmica, you should check out this website here because an osmica is only open for a set amount of time during the year, and I cannot tell you now which ones will be open during your visit because it really depends. But if you don't have any osmica in Prosecco or Opicina or nearby that you can head to without a car, then head to a local osteria or trattoria or a gostilna, which is the Slovenian term for a certain type of it. If at this point you are tired, physically tired of walking, then go back to Trieste by bus. Otherwise, check out the Grotta Gigante, which is a huge cave that you can visit with a 1-hour guided tour that has to be booked in advance. So I would say, depending on the availability of Grotta Gigante, and since each visit lasts 1 hour, you should organize the entire day around Grotta Gigante if that matters to you, if you really care about visiting the cave. And in that case, you might switch things around and do Grotta Gigante first and then a long walk on the Napoleonica, for example. I get tired very easily, so I wouldn't be able to do both activities in the same day. So keep that in mind as well, which is your priority. Side note, the Grotta Gigante has a temperature of about 10 degrees Celsius all year round, so depending on the season, you might need to bring a jacket specifically for that. And wear comfortable shoes that are suitable for a slippery environment. This could be dangerous otherwise. From the city center, it might take about 35 minutes by bus to get to Grotta Gigante, unless you are already there after taking a tram, and then you only have one way of 35 minutes by bus. Both the bus route and the tram one are truly panoramic, so make sure to look out the window. Let me give you one more option, since you might already be on the bus number 42. On the way back to Trieste, you could stop at the Victory Lighthouse, Faro della Vittoria. Depending on when you are visiting during the year, you might want to switch things around, start from the Victory Lighthouse, then stop in Prosecco, take a long walk on the Napoleonica, and finally take the tram back from Opicina. Since you spent all day out of Trieste, I would say go back to the city center and have a pizza or some other meal in town. Day 3. After visiting a cafe or having breakfast at your accommodation, get on a bus and head all the way to the Sentiero Rilke. This is a panoramic and some might say romantic walk that you can enjoy all year round, but it is quite far from the city. So once you're there, you should also check out the Castello di Duino, the Duino Castle, because the Sentiero Rilke is quite close to it. You will spend the entire morning between these two activities, and you might even want to have lunch over there before heading back to Trieste. At this point, I would say visit San Giusto Castle, if you don't mind visiting 2 castles in one day. Otherwise, check out the Winkelmann Museum or simply walk around the San Giusto Hill, because you don't need to enter the castle to truly enjoy San Giusto, in my opinion. And it's beautiful at sunset as well. At this point, you could check out the Teatro Romano, the Roman theatre, or do the opposite. So first check out the Teatro Romano and then San Giusto, depending on where you got off the bus, basically. And whenever I'm around the Teatro Romano, I always stop by Gelato da Marco to get the best gelato in town. I am not being too specific with meals because, well, I've explained why in the other video, but use lunchtime or dinner time to explore a different neighborhood or to have a different culinary experience. There are so many options, both affordable and on a higher end. And keep in mind that if you're not used to walking in a hilly city, you will get tired pretty quickly. So this is why I would say don't pack each day with activities, because you might be exhausted by the end of the day. Day 4. If you have a 4th day to spend in Trieste, I give you some more options. One is Val Rosandra. Once again, if you enjoy hiking and being in nature, this is perfect for you. Plus, around Val Rosandra, you can find several osteria and trattoria or osmiza options. This activity could take the whole morning, so after that, head back to the city center and enjoy either a museum or a ferry if you're visiting in the summer months, because that's when you have a traghetto ferry from the city center heading both to Muggia and to Miramare. And you have a couple of stops in between, and that could be a nice activity so that you can also take photographs of the city from the sea, or if it's a very sunny and hot day, this could be the perfect way to escape a heat wave. If it's open, I would go to a theater. This may not be perfect for you unless you understand Italian or they are having an English show, which I believe is quite rare. But we have multiple theaters in town, and during the summer they also have an open theatre and multiple events both in Piazza Unità and in front of Teatro Verdi and other locations. See, for example, another summer activity is the Trieste Festival, which is a Celtic festival that lasts several days and that is held on a hill in Trieste, not too far from the city center. It only takes 20, maybe 30 minutes from Piazza Unità, basically. And over there you have free concerts, and it's basically a fair in which you can also wear costumes, for instance. This is more rare, but there are some events that are held in the evenings in the Miramare Park, and you might check out which are the events held whenever you're visiting, because even though I grew up there, I never had the chance to attend an event in the evening in Miramare, which I believe is a beautiful setting. But you are likely to find free events, concerts and such, especially in the summer. In autumn, there is Barcolana, and that is a whole different story. But if you are planning a visit on the second week or weekend of October, just be prepared, because all hotels and accommodations will be more expensive. They will be busy, but it will also be a truly interesting experience if you've never seen the Barcolana. And if you visit in autumn or winter, check out this video so that you are prepared when the Bora comes. Have you ever visited Trieste? If so, let me know what was on your itinerary, if you don't mind sharing, because some other people might find it useful. Now that you watched this, check out the video on the screen. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.